Welcome. You are listening to the Be a Better Being podcast, hosted by Michelle Zellner and Sasha Berscheid. Michelle and Sasha are here to give you information and inspiration to help you live your healthiest, happiest lives. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoy the show.
Greetings. Thank you for tuning into the Be a Better Being podcast. I'm Michelle Zellner, your host, coming to you from a stunning November day in Denver, Colorado. And I am joined by the best side host ever, coming to you from Omaha, Nebraska.
Hi, guys.
Girlfriend,
Hi,
so
guys.
good to see your face.
Missed you guys so much, but girl, you have been killing it. You are doing awesome, and I love all the better beans that you brought on, and I'm just so thankful that they have all taken the time to join us. Yeah, I'm so thankful to be here today. So thank you.
Well, I am thankful that you were here as well. I mean, as much as I love interacting with every guest, I miss our one-on-one time, I'm not going to lie. So I think a while ago we talked about, the highs of the podcast and things. And still, it is getting to record with you, getting to see your face, getting to see and catch up on all the things in life. Because even though we're connected, we're still full and we text and check in, but we don't get the details all the time, right?
I
So
know.
I think it's a good time to do that because it's been a minute for you to be on here as well. And we have a lot to catch up on. So I'm going to let you steer this ship.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You guys, I don't even know when the last check-in was. I don't really, most of the time I will pull up my social media and I'll just be like, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Check-in this time is looking so different than ever before. Like so different than ever before. I am a different person than I was the last time I checked in. What does that mean, Sasha? What does it mean to be a different person? Well, I mean, where do we even begin? I have let my, do we call it a guard? What do I call it? Like I've let my something open. I've opened my gate maybe and simultaneously closed a lot of gates, So
Yeah. There's been some big shifts, not only physically, but I think more so mentally and emotionally that allowed the physical shifts to happen. So the last time you and I checked in was early September.
okay.
Early September. We're now mid to late November.
Mhm.
And a lot has happened very quickly. As
Okay.
if you are part of my email list, I described this podcast episode as Sasha moves at the speed of light. And we have a lot to catch up on. And that, I mean, literally.
Now I remember exactly. So the last time we talked, I was preparing to do a positivity sign party on the corner of the busiest intersection of Omaha. That was incredible. It was a beautiful day. The news even picked up on the story. We had strangers on that corner. Is a bus stop as well. So we were giving out waters and snacks to bus drivers and cheering on all the people in the buses. And it was a very beautiful day. So that was my birthday. And 2 days after that, I decided that I was going to make a pivotal change in my life. And I was going to reach out to my mom for help. And that's exactly what I did. On September 11th, I decided to ask my mom for help. And what my mom has given me is something that I will never be able to repay her for. I also feel like if I ever wrote a book in my life, let me explain this to you and why. If I ever wrote a book in my life, I would title this chapter of my life, "You Pick Your Parents." What does that mean? Okay. So I'm into learning about all things. I think that we should be constant learners always, even if you don't agree with what you learn, you can still learn and be educated on someone else's perspective. Well, I recently was told that your spirit picks your parents. Your parents create you, but your spirit picks your parents. And when I heard that, I was like, that is absurd. That's not the case. That's, and thinking back to my my younger years, my teenage years, and then obviously my drinking years, there's no way that I would have agreed with anyone who said that you pick your parents. At the age of 35 years old, I know why I picked my parents. And that and all of everything that I'm doing right now is so healing, and it's full circle, and I am speechless, emotional, thankful, and grateful for my time right now, where I'm at with my mother.
And it's beautiful. It is something that from the outside looking in, you physically look different. Now, you don't really look different, but your energy, your vibrancy, your aura, everything is different.
Thank
And,
God.
we haven't really gone deep, 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 obviously, into the relationship of you and your mom on the show. But suffice it to say, it's been very difficult.
I challenged my mother a lot, and my mother protected me. But when you are young and you're challenging your mom, yes, it makes the relationship difficult because you're both butting heads constantly. Yes, it's easy to say that.
Yeah, and part of your personality, you are bold and fierce and independent and I'm Sasha and I can do this all on
Yes,
my own and I don't need
100%.
any help.
Nope,
And look
I
at
don't.
me, I will do it, right? And so clearly going through something very difficult, you decided that yeah, I need to maybe release that burden from yourself, that desire to prove to your mom or to the world that you can do it alone and let's just unfold that. Like, how was that received when you reached out to her in that first conversation?
If I look back, it reminds me of just like action films or like a thriller movie where I don't remember. It's like very choppy and the scenes are super cut up and one moment leads to another and next thing I know, everything's in my mom's arms. And it's like she has been waiting to nurture me for so long that I can't even put into words how healing all of just even having her receive me, having her help me with Cayenne, having her discipline Draco, having like the list goes on and on and on. And for the first time in a very long time, I feel like I have help.
Mm.
And what I'm not saying as far as like the nonprofits, I'm not talking about my professional life. I'm talking as my personal life. I feel like I have help. I also going step back to my mother and why I picked her, and I never realized this. And Sammy, my sister, you'll love this. She flew here, and she was supposed to be gone October 25th, but she just has been healing herself that she canceled her trip and then isn't leaving until or it left November 7th. But it's just a cosmic time for our family to heal. And what I was about to say is one of the things that I am going to admit is this last year, I forgot about my magic. I forgot about who I was and that I can do anything and I can do everything. But I forgot that. Now, my mother is the world's A class cheerleader. She loves to impact. She'll be like, "You made those scrambled eggs so incredible." So, like, you know what I mean? She will rally, cheer, encourage, and push me and constantly remind me of my magic. It can be something as little as how incredible I help clean her house, but like there is an appreciation for who I am and mother's pride. And when you're constantly hearing that over and over and over versus maybe emptiness or nothing, you forgot your shine, but now this girl is on fire again, you know, like I can do this. I can do this because that is who I was created for, but it's okay to ask for help. I was missing that. And it,
And
yeah,
my guess is your mom has been that cheerleader all along, but you chose to put the wall up and not receive it for
yeah,
various reasons, right? Your own protection mechanisms.
yeah,
And then when you are that cheerleader who's cheering for somebody and they're blocking you, maybe eventually you stop cheering.
yeah, for sure. And I'm going to say that these last 2 years of my life, I did a lot of groundwork. And that is why I was and am able to say I was very successful professionally. Very. It was wonderful. Best 2 years of my professional life. Okay, let's take a step back. Probably the worst 2 years of my personal life. So now it's all about balance. How do I achieve balance? What does that look like? How can I get my health back? What, you know what I mean? So it's, I was boots on the ground running. Yes, of course, my mother was cheerleading me on all the time. She was helping me with the kids. But when I was boots on the ground, I was blocking a lot of people and I was making other things a priority. And I'm able to reap the blessings for the creations and the seeds that I planted because I was a vessel to doing good things. But something had to change because I couldn't continue to do professional and not pay attention to my personal.
So it sounds like you really decided that Sasha was worth it. Sasha was worth the scary thing of reaching out to mom,
Mhm.
the scary thing of saying, I need help.
Yeah, I will fully admit I don't ask for help. I delegate. Those are two different things, right? I can delegate all day long. I'm professional at that. Asking for personal help, being actually vulnerable, like it's okay to be vulnerable. I can tell you my stories all day long, and I will tell my stories all day long. But there's a difference between telling your story, ending your story, and telling your story because you need help. And for the first time in my life, I did that.
So this conversation brings me back to that time when I was I was in that position too where it was like, okay, you can either be strong and do this on your own or you can call mom and dad. And it was when I was engaged the first time around, 25 years old. I have my life all planned and figured out. I get the phone call from a girl telling me, oh, my and your fiance's son will be one next month. I just thought you should know that before you married him. What? Right? You think you have it all figured out. You think you got your life plan, except you don't. And now it's like, what do I do? And it took a week for me to make that phone call because I knew as soon as I made that call, that was the decision. It was done. There was no figuring it out. There was no going back. There was no, okay, we can work this out. No, because that is just not a standard for anybody in my family, and it's not a standard for me. And I knew once I made that phone call, like that was the decision. It took me a week of being there and going through the best and the worst week that we as a couple had ever gone through. And I mean, I certainly had my challenges with my parents growing up, as everybody does. And yet it was no hesitation. Dad flew to Dallas. I got a hitch on my car. He drove, we towed. 20 hours we drove back to Wisconsin. And the first person that was there to greet me was my mom. No judgment. No, we told you so, right? None of that. Nothing but this is what we're here for. And that was definitely a turning point in I think my own attitude and perception about my parents. And, it could have been met in many, many, many different ways. And it wasn't. And so now that I think about it, that's probably when I picked my parents. Yeah. I love that. It's funny because every time there's a Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever, I'm like, I did such a good job picking you guys. Good job. Right. joking, but you know what? I think it probably is. I think it probably is really kind of true.
I honestly, when I was told that, then started doing, because there's like a true theory behind it, and started reading into it. I was like, this is a theory, even if it's not real and it's not right, I'm going to believe it. Because now that I am here, I turned 35 and I am in my mom's basement. I sit here and I am like, man, I love my mom. I love my mom. I love the talks we have. I love how she supports me. I love how she's stern. I love the discipline that she set in me. The list goes on and on and on. And my sister, right, is here, so healing. And she's also like, I love my mom. I love it. And so, can you imagine being a mom and hearing that? I can't. We're doing things and I say, Sammy, did you ever think? And she's like, no. And it's the most healing of anything that I could have ever expected. And I was telling Sammy this. I go, I can't wait till I'm 75 and I can't wait till I'm 75. And I think about this time in my life and how I know that it will probably be my favorite time being alive.
Yeah, I think you're right. And as somebody who has a really awesome relationship with her parents now, because I did a lot of work for myself to make that happen, and they obviously allowed it to happen. I'm always really happy when somebody has discovered that relationship for themselves. And when I talk to people, whether it's friends or clients or anybody, and I hear that they don't have a good relationship with their family, it is heartbreaking. And it's unfortunately, I think it's more the norm than not. So just to know that you are in this place and this is a bond that you're never going to go back to the way it was, right? It's only going to get better. Doesn't mean it's always going to be easy, but it's only going to get better.
Yeah. And I'm very thankful for this moment in my time. I'm very thankful for it for my children. One thing that I forgot to mention is, I have had a weird issues with my health. My hormones have been messed up. I'm still investigating and working on that. But like having someone who's just like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure it out. You don't have to do it alone. And I'm not saying that I felt alone, because I have an incredible community and I have incredible friends and I have incredible support system, but they're not your mom. They're not your mom. And so if you're listening to this and you're saying, I don't have hope, I'm not close to my mom, I cannot relate, cannot compute, like, I get it. I get it. But one thing that I would challenge you, if you're listening to this and either you just don't relate, I challenge you to put a magnet on your fridge with your mom's name on it. And every time you walk past that magnet, or your dad, all you do is just send them a well wish. No, I don't want to. I don't care. Just send them a well wish. See what happens. See what happens when you start speaking it into existence, that you do want something well and fruitful for your mom. I would love to hear someone that does this reach back out to Michelle or myself and let us know the impact of that, because I know it will change your life. And if you have a great relationship with your mom, but you don't have a great relationship with maybe your boss, I challenge you to do the magnet trick. See what happens.
I think that's a great suggestion. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get a few people to reach out.
Yeah, I've had really good success stories with that. I have one of myself, But I have a question for you, Michelle. Now, yes, we have turned a point. We are in November.
It's true.
So my season is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now we are in November. I cannot believe it. I feel like I was just doing the vision board with you and Vernon, who is killing it. I've been watching Vernon. He's doing amazing. November. what has gone on between then, now, and then what's next for you? Like, I need to know all of it.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, January literally felt like 2 days ago, and in the weird way, it also felt like 10 years ago, right? It's that weird time conundrum. I just got caught up with she was used to be a personal training client. She reached out to me because she asked if I would come do a vision board workshop for the Girl Scout troop that her daughter's in, that she's in charge of. And I was like, oh, yes, 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 that will be amazing. So we're going to schedule that later. But I hadn't really seen her. She helped me when I got my first hip replaced. So that's almost a year and a half ago now. But we haven't really caught up or talked. She's like, so gosh, I'm watching you on social media. Everything's great. And she asked me, what's the best part? All of it. I mean, literally all of it. They're all the best for different reasons. I mean, I am living in this time where everything's great. And I know that that is not going to be the case forever. And so I really am taking the time to celebrate all the good things, to absorb some of the not so good things, because there have been some things that kind of came out of the blue for me that were not good, but that's okay because that's what life is. I mean, professionally, it's been wonderful and getting to go see friends and family and get in front of 18-year-old college freshmen, helping them trying to either figure out where they're going to go in their professional careers, talking about how to be healthy, happy humans for themselves, giving them some of those tools that maybe if I had heard when I was 18, I would have gotten a little jump start on this, but it's all been great. And yeah, November, my birthday is at the end of the month. So headed into Thanksgiving here. I turned 50 not too long after Thanksgiving, which I'm super excited about. I think 50 is going to be an amazing decade.
For sure. Are you
Yeah.
doing anything to celebrate?
Well, I will be in my favorite place with two of my favorite people. So I'm headed to Hawaii here soon. If you listen to our Catchup podcast in September, you know that mom and dad are going to be moving back to Wisconsin. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not sad that the house hasn't sold like that. So they are still in Hawaii, and yet they know they're going to leave. So I think it's more of the decision having been made that they will be leaving that has kind of made everybody's life just easier, right? Because when you're in limbo, as you know, limbo is a very uncomfortable place to be. So the house is on the market. They've had showings. They've had some offers, but none that they're willing to accept because they don't need to sell it. But if they get the great offer, then they'll go. And so I'm really proud of my parents, A, for making that hard decision. Had this conversation with my friend Karen that I just met up with. You know, they spent a lot of time and money moving back to Hawaii. And less than a year later, they realized they don't want to be there. And a lot of people would say, but I have to, right? Because we have to do this because this is what we said we would do. And we spend so much time and money. And so we have to. And I love that they are both physically, mentally, and financially able to do whatever they want. You know, when they told us we were selling, I was like, oh, that's so sad. But really, it's not. I mean, I want my parents to be where they're happy. Doesn't mean I can't ever go back to Hawaii. Of course I will. But yeah, selfishly, I'm happy that they're still there. And we all just planned our Christmas trip as well. So my sister and I will both be there over Christmas. And it's going to be great. My dad sent a text, well, do you guys want to do this, this, this? And I'm like, yes to all of it. And my sister's like, ditto, Michelle, yes to all of it. And it's just a really great time in life for me to get to spend this time with them and with my sister. And I feel like we're all in the best place ever in our relationships that we've ever been in. And it's really cool. It's
I
really cool.
know that feeling. It is really cool. And when you were talking earlier and you said the best, and this is the best, and this is the best, it reminded me of pre-children Sasha when everything was the best. Well, I don't want to say my children are the best because they are the best, but I would literally use that verbiage. You know, I would say this is the best, and this is the best, and this is the best. And I'm working with a Staro for my healing, and she calls it Bugs Bunny. And when you go into this is the best, and this is the best, and this is the best, you go into Bugs Bunny mode, and that's exactly it. And you're right. It's okay to be in Bugs Bunny mode right now. Everything can be the best. And to just, like you said, realize that roller coasters may occur. So hold on tight, keep your arms and your legs in, and get ready for the ride. I mean, that's what I'm learning. This year, life, all of it, it's beautiful and the best.
It is. And, honestly, when those challenges come, because they're going to, that's what life is. And you are in this place right now, Sasha, and you've already done a lot of that up until this point in your life. All the skills that you have been developing and honing, the resiliency, the physical, mental, and emotional resiliency, tools, the healing, all of that is setting your foundation. Just like when I did all my work, and not to say that my work is done because it never is, but I did a lot of it. So I know that whatever challenge is going to come my way, it's fine because I did a lot of hard work to be able to meet the challenge and get through it to the best of my ability at that time with whatever it is. And, one of my mottos, hard now or harder later, if you don't go through hard stuff, you have no idea how to get through the harder stuff. And it is really, really difficult when you don't have those skills, resources, that support in place. So I love that you're going through this healing process, and there are ebbs and flows and there are steps, but it it's beautiful to watch. I will say the post that you put up about Cayenne on Halloween. Let's talk about that.
Oh man. So yeah. Ah, okay, here we go. My vision was to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that was what I expected. That is what Disney has taught me, and I have been conditioned to believe that I will be a stay-at-home mom. That's not the case. Cayenne has level 3 autism. Cayenne needs insurance. The life that I expected and anticipated to have with Cayenne, and I don't know if we ever talked about what happened in April, but I had a lot of resentments, hurt, grief, and pain towards the reality of my life versus the anticipation of what I had wanted my life to be. And it took me 4 years to be ready to discuss it with anyone. I went to a therapist. She let me know that what I was experiencing is known as a grief aversary. And I cried and cried and cried and cried. And it was, I said everything that was ever on my heart that I won't probably ever say those things again because they're not true. They're not true in my heart anymore, but they were true when I said them about the resentments and the hardship with the connection that I have with Cayenne and also just parenting with her. And I let it all out. I let out all of my expectations, the why me, the poor me's, all of those in her room. And I closed the door, and I fortunately, like, that was my time with that therapist. It was what I needed. It was a grief anniversary. And those tears shed onto the seeds that have blossomed and grown into what I have with Cayenne now. And oh my gosh, cool. Cool. Cool that Cayenne is my kid. Cool that I believe in the theory of, and this might have also, been populated after the 35 with my mom and all this stuff, but Cayenne picked me, y'all, to be her mom. Why? Because I can. And so can Cayenne. And so in June, April, May, June, we had Michelle was here in June. June, July. So June, July, I had a complete transformation and realized that I am such a good mom. And I don't need anyone to validate it. I don't need anyone to give me a sticker or like my post or comment or hug, high five, none of it, because I do whatever it takes for that little girl to be successful. Anything. And if that means keeping a full-time job, not being a stay-at-home mom, working for one of the best corporate America companies, doing my best to be the best employee, then I will. If that means that I'm going to have care for her And what has happened because of that is I now get to go to her preschool. She goes to preschool 4 days a week from 8 in the morning until 11:15. And then she has ABA from 1:30 until 4:45, Tuesdays through Thursdays. So she has full-time job, just learning. She has a full-time learning job, which is great. That's setting her up for hopefully wanting to be a student and a learner for the rest of her life. But then additionally, this little girl does so many cool things. And for the first time when we went to her Halloween thing, she had the biggest smile on her face towards me, her mom. But I'm going to tell you parents, you moms especially, who are told that you're doing it wrong or different or getting criticized, or you feel like someone is judging you because your momming is different. Don't listen to them. That is your child. You know how to mother your child. It is intuition. It is built into you. Even if you don't think that you can, you can. And through all of the grieving to where I am today, what I've learned is I am a lot. I am loud. I love to celebrate. I love to like clap my hands and scream and like, and Draco, my son, reacts really well to that. But guess who doesn't? Kyan. Kyan wants me to leave her alone. She wants me to speak quietly, softly. I now understand she wants me to leave her alone. She doesn't want to be coddled. She doesn't want me overseeing her. She's going to be okay. She has taught me within these last, from even September to today, that she can do it just her own way.
You know who that reminds me of?
Oh, no, don't say it.
I mean, I kind of feel like you just described yourself there, my friend.
I know. She's just the quieter version. She just has a lot of capabilities to pick up on senses that I maybe had some issues with that growing up, but have learned to like condition myself to everything. And so I'm learning, she's learning, but the one thing that I have learned since my grief anniversary to today is number one, I'm an incredible mom. And then bullet points to that is I don't have to mother her how everyone else mothers their children or the traditional type. She wants me to be quiet. She wants me to leave her alone. When she needs me, she needs me. She'll come to me. She really does. And it is awesome.
That is so great. Oh my gosh, I love it. So Mike from the Nadas, who we just aired October 31st, he has a son with autism and he wrote a really awesome song, Henry James. You should listen to it. There's a line that I feel like you would say that your mom and dad think you're off the chain. It's one of my favorite lines of the song. We are going to have him on this show to specifically talk about Henry James and, having a child with autism. So I think I'm really happy to hear all this because I don't think a year ago you would have been in a place to have a conversation like that with somebody. But I feel like you are going to be so open to hearing his experience and, how he and his wife had navigated through it. They have 4 kids. He's the second in line. So 13 years old at this point right now. So he's got a few years under the belt on where you are with Kyan. But yeah, I think you especially are going to really enjoy that conversation.
I will agree. I was still bitter. That is the best way of putting where I was bitter 1 year ago. And, it took so much irrigating and tilling of my internal soil. And the only way to till and to irrigate your soil is to have friction and prodding and finally my soul did what it wanted to do and expressed emotions, felt feelings. And I'm here today, excited to see what's next. I might have said I was frightful to see what was next, but that's not the case anymore. And the guiding light has been Sasha, has been my mom. Let's back up and say the guiding light is my mom. reminding me of who I am. You are you. That's all you were born to be. So be it. Yes, I can do it then, Mom. I will do it because you made me to be me. Mm.
Such a good place to get to, isn't it? I love it. So Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Is it going to look different this year for you than it has in the past?
Oh, I don't know yet. I mean, I think so.
I would just imagine with the healing place that you and your sisters with your mom have come to, it's going to feel different, if nothing else.
Yeah, our biggest traditional holiday is going to be Christmas. And so my mom is from El Salvador. Thanksgiving was something that like it's an important thing, but it is more um of an American holiday. And so we did that primarily with my dad's side of the family. It will be Christmas Eve will be completely different this year than it probably has ever been. And I'm so and forever will be so grateful for this time in my life that yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you. Yeah. So before we officially wrap up, anything else that we need to catch up on? You want to share?
Okay. So the only thing that I am toying with right now in my thoughts, and the reason being is because I love the accountability of it and I love what I didn't do Sasha's 7 day at all this last year. I am toying with the thought of how do we bring it back? How do we revamp it, rebrand it so that it's not using verbiage that is hurtful to it helps me in my mentality when I say eat this, don't eat this, right? But that's like not how it should be. So like how do we revamp it? How do we bring it back? Do we bring it like that's kind of like where I'm at. That's do we do it under better beings? Do we do a better beans challenge? Like I that's where my seeds are. And so I'm tilling, I am aerating, I'm fertilizing. I'm just saying whatever's next is whatever's next. But that's where I'm at. That's the last, I haven't ever told you that, but that's just doing Sasha's 7 day has kept me on track and has helped me be who I am today. And I'm thankful for that.
So here's how in sync we are. You posted about, hey, who wants to do Sasha's 7 day challenge a couple weeks ago? And I'm like, oh, she's bringing this back.
I'm bringing it back.
I mean,
I have to bring it back. Like
Yeah,
I don't know how we don't. That
we
was
can definitely talk about that. I mean, we'll talk about this again later, but my wheels are turning for things for
Us.
2023 as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I love that you have said it out loud now.
I
because you
have.
know what it means.
Yes. I guess the last thing is I'm excited for everyone to hear. You'll have to come back December to hear what Michelle has up her musician sleeves. Yeah.
Yes, I'm very
Yeah.
excited for that, where there are definitely lots of seed planting and tilling going on at the moment. Yeah, I think we both have some big stuff ahead, and I'm super excited, incredibly grateful for this, for us, for you, for the podcast, all of it. I'm incredibly grateful. I'm gonna be hopping on a plane in a couple of days to go to Hawaii and spend time with my family and some friends and just kind of finish out this year strong. Work is a little slow for me, which I used to really panic about. And honestly, I don't anymore. There's a reason why I have space in my life, and it's to do other things. And it's great.
Woo, I love that. I love that.
And honestly, it makes the work that I do that much more fulfilling, because when you're just go, 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 it just is like, oh, just another one assembly line, right? Now I can really give so much more, and they are really impactful and meaningful conversations, and not that they weren't before, but I can be more present. So maybe I'm getting more out of it than I had in the past. And that's kind of a cool thing too.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to end this with this, everyone. Mom, I know you're listening. I know you're listening on your bike. And I just want to say, I love you. I love you, Mom. Thank you for being my biggest supporter, my cheerleader. empower, teacher, guru, all the things. I love you, Mom. Thank you, Better Beans, for allowing me space to be myself and to say hi to my mom.
Well, of course, I'm going to officially wrap us up by saying you wore that sweatshirt, says better together. And that is exactly the feeling, right? So thank you, everybody, for listening. I know there was a lot in here. Hopefully you have something that is kind of tickling your brain, maybe pulling on your heart, and you're going to do something with it and go and be a better being.
Thank you for listening to the Be a Better Being podcast. Michelle and Sasha hope that what you heard today inspires you to embrace this journey of life with an open mind, a kind heart, and a willingness to learn and evolve. If you enjoyed the content, please help spread their message by subscribing, sharing, and leaving a 5-star review. If you have a show topic idea or would like to be a guest, please visit betterbeings.net and fill out a contact form. Until next time, go and be a better being.